Woohoo! All right, we are here for our next lesson. Today's lesson is about factoring expressions. Let me write that. Is my pen on? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Maybe move myself up here. Oh, there we go. All right, so factoring out expressions. We learned the distributive property, how the number that's next to something in parentheses needs to be distributed to both variables within the parentheses. And so what we're doing today is learning how to do the opposite of that, is taking out, finding the common or the greatest common factor and pulling it out so that we can show how it was distributed before. It's kind of like reverse distributive property. It's called factoring expressions. All right, so we're going to, our topic is factoring expressions. All right, factoring expression. It's for pre-algebra. All right, here we go. So today we're going to be able to separate an expression back into a product. It's called factoring, right? Factoring something out. And we do that by looking for, the steps to do that is looking for the greatest common factor, right, that the numbers have in common. And then you're going to divide each term by that greatest common factor, or the GCF. Sorry. And then leave the remaining factors in the parentheses. After you factor out the number that you need, or even sometimes it's a letter, or yes, a letter, we leave whatever else is left in the parentheses. All right, and then we check our work by doing the opposite, by distributing, right? I may not do all of those, but I will do a few of those with you. Okay, here we go. So we find the greatest common factor. An example here. I'm sorry, I didn't even go over the example. The example here that you see, they have 2x plus 8. That's the simplest form. That means that somebody did a distribution for this equation. And the greatest common number that they have, or factor that they have, it can't be higher than 2, because whatever is higher than 2, it can't go into 2 because it's too big, right? So 2 and 8, the greatest common factor would be 2, because we can't have a number bigger than 2. So 2 is the greatest common factor. And what they did is they found out what the greatest common factor is here, and they divided each by 2. And by doing that, they pulled the common factor out, the number 2, and then they divided 2 over 2. That left the x by itself, and divided 8 by 2, and that left 4. So they left the x plus something plus 4 inside and pulled the 2 out. And we can check our work by doing the distributive property, right? We do 2x and 2 times 4, and that would give us back 2x plus 8, which is what we have, right? You don't have to do this all on your paper. My goal is to do it, to explain it to you, and then I will erase it. So I just want you to understand. And then I will do that on our problems. Ooh, sorry. All right, so they divided out. We're going to do those in our practice problems. Okay, here we go. Oh, I was supposed to underline that. All right, factor each expression. If the expression cannot be factored, write prime. All right, here we go. So we have 7x plus 7. The greatest common factor that those two numbers have in common is 7, right? They're both 7, so their greatest common factor is 7. So if I divide, if I divide both of them by 7, and then I simplify it, right? So 7's my greatest common factor. Then I'm going to put the rest of it in parentheses. So 7x divided by 7 will leave x inside, plus, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. There you go. And if we want to double check to make sure we're right, remember you can distribute, and it would give us 7x plus 7, which was which was our original. Okay, you don't have to do that. I just did it to show you. That's how we check to see if we're right. If you're not sure, you don't go back and check if you're not sure. Sorry, my hand is slipping off right here. Okay, let's move myself down because I'm going to be rolling this up. Here we go. All right, let's do number 2, 4k plus 20. The greatest common factor can't be larger than 4 because 4 is a factor in the problem. So if it can't be larger than 4, then 4 probably is the largest number, and 4 can go into 20. So it works. So we are going to divide by 4 and divide by 4, and that will give us 4 as our common number on the outside of the parentheses. Inside, we left the k and the plus sign, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay? If you want to check your work, you distribute. You do the 4 times k, which is 4k, and then 4 times 5, which is 20, to double check your work. All right, number 3. Now that we kind of understand, hopefully we do by now, we're going to move a little bit faster. All right, number 3, we have 5m. Sorry, don't mind my movement. Sorry, my fingers keep slipping. And I'm not at my desk. My desk is much easier. Okay, so I have 5m minus 15. So the greatest common factor that 5 and 15 have is 5. It can't be larger than 5, and 5 can go into 15. So 5 has to be the greatest common factor. We're going to divide by 5. And so 5 will be our common number on the outside. Inside, I left the m minus, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. There it is. And to double check, we would do 5 times m is 5m, and 5 times 3 is 15. And we left the sign. All right, here we go. Number 4, 6r minus 48s. I'm not paying attention to the letters, right? I know the letters are different. We're looking to simplify the numbers by finding the greatest common factor. So we know that it can't be larger than 6 because a number bigger than 6 can't go into 6, right? So we know that it probably is going to be 6. We just need to find out if 48 is a factor of 6, and 48 is a factor of 6, okay? Or a multiple of 6. So we're going to divide by 6. And that leaves us our common number 6. 6 divided by 6, those cross each other out, right? So I'm left with r minus, and 48 divided by 6 is 8. Yes. And then the s is still attached. So we're going to leave this 8s. So if I factor this back out, right, like this, I would get 6r minus 48s, which was my original answer, if you're not sure. All right, number 5, we have 12w plus 24. 12 is probably going to be the greatest common factor. We have to think about, can 12 go into 24? It can. 2 times. So we're going to divide by 12. And 12 becomes our number on the outside. 12 and 12 cancel each other out. So we're left with w plus, and 12 goes into 24 2 times. There we go. All right, moving along. Number 6, we have 2p minus 9. This one's, I remember what it said in the directions. Find the term by the GCF, greatest common factor, and leave the remaining factors in parentheses. Oh, it says here, if the expression cannot be factored, write prime. Yeah, well, because 2 is an even number and 9 is an odd number, and you can't find a common factor between even and odd. Either the numbers are even and you find an even number to go into them, or the number's odd and you try to find an odd number to go into it, but you can't find multiple numbers. So this one is factored as much as it's going to be factored, so we're going to write prime. There is no great common factor there. All right. Next one, we have 7n minus 10. We know that it can't be a number greater than 4. But can 4 go into 10? Or is 10 a factor of 4? It is not. It's 4, 8, 12. So 10 is not a factor of 4. So that's probably not the greatest common factor. But we do know 4 is even and 10 is even. And we know 2 goes into all even numbers. So our greatest common factor would probably have to be 2 because 4 cannot go into 10 evenly. Okay, so we're going to use 2 in this case is our greatest common factor. So 2 is going to be our greatest common factor. And 4 divided by 2 will leave us 2. N minus, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, and if you want to check your work to make sure that you're correct, you would remember distribute both of these, right? 2 times 2, n would be 4n, and 2 times 5 would be 10. Okay. Wait. Okay. The next one. So we have 10v plus 45. Well, I know that 45 is not a factor of 10. When you think of 10, you can all the numbers must end in 0 for it to be a factor of 10, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So there's no 5 there when you're dividing by 10. So 10 can't be the greatest common factor because it doesn't go into 45 evenly. We need it to go into it evenly. And so if it can't be 10, then we can go down and think of another factor. Can't be 4. 4 can't go into 45. 3 can't go into 10, right? 3 can go into 45 evenly, but 3 cannot go into 10. 10 is not a factor of 3. And then we have 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we do 4? 4, 5. I'm sorry. I was thinking 2, then 4, then 5. I think 5 is the best number here. It's the greatest common factor. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you there. I was trying to go think of going up in numbers. Like 2 can't go into 45. 3 can go into 45, but it can't go into 10. 4 can't go into 45 or 10. 5 would be our next number. That was what I was trying to explain and got confused. All right, so 5 is our greatest common factor. 5 can go into 10 and 45. So 5 will become our factor number. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we have 2v plus, and then 45 divided by 5 is 9. All right, and again, if you want to double check, you can always distribute. Here we go. 6k plus 21. Let's see. It can't be a number greater than 6, but 21 is not a factor of 6. It's 6, 12, 18, 24. So 21 is not a factor of 6, so it can't be 6. Then we can go backwards to 5. We know it can't be 5. All numbers have to end in 5 or 0 for 5 to be a factor. And then we go down to 4. 4 can't go into 6 evenly, and 4 can't go into 21 evenly. Let's go down 3. 3 can go into 6, and 3 can go into 21. So 3 would be our greatest common factor because we've ruled out 6, we've ruled out 5, we ruled out 4, and our next number would be 3. That would work for them. Both of them. It has to work for both of them. So we're going to divide by 3. 3 becomes our factor on the outside. 3 can go into 6 2 times, and we leave our k there, plus 21 divided by 3 is 7. There we go. Great, let's keep going. All right, next, number 10, we have 6a minus 12b. We know that the number can't be higher than 12 because 12 is the smallest number. That means that any number above can't go into 12. So let's go backwards from 12. So 16 is not a factor of 12. It's 12, 24, 36, 48. So 16 is not a factor of 12. So let's go down. 12, 11. Both of these numbers are not factors of 11. 10. We know that numbers have to end in 0 to be a factor of 10. 9. 9 can't go into 12 evenly, and 9 can't go into 16 evenly. 8. 8 can go into 16 2 times, but 8 cannot go into 12, so we can't use 8. 7. 16 is not a factor of 7, and 12 is not a factor of 7. It's 7, 14, 21, right? None of those numbers. So we are at 7. 6. Let's see. 6 is not a factor of 6. 16 is not a factor of 6, but 12 is a factor of 6. But it has to work for both, right? If you count 6, 12, 18 is the next number. So 16 doesn't make the cut. So that was 6. Let's go to 5. We know it can't be a factor of 5 because they have to end in 0 or 5. 4. 16 is a factor of 4, and 12 is a factor of 4. So we can use 4. 4 is our greatest common factor. We're going to use 4 here, and 4 will become our factoring number. 16 divided by 4 is 4a. We're going to leave the a minus, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, and leave the b. Boom. All right. 8r plus 15. Ooh, 8 is an even number. 15 is an odd number. We can't find a common factor for the two of them. One's even, one's odd. They will not have something in common. So we can already eliminate it. It is prime. Okay. All right. Last one on this sheet. There is a second sheet. 24y minus 40. We're looking for the greatest common factor that we can use for both. We know that it can't be higher than 24. So is 40 a factor of 24? It is not. 24 times 2 is 48, and that's too big for the 40. So we got to go backwards. So 24, we know it can't be 23. We know it can't be 22 because 22 times 2 is 44. 21, it can't be 21 because that's an odd number. We know it's not going to be any of the odd numbers. So it can't be 21. Can it be 20? It cannot be 20 because 24 is not a factor of 20. 20 ends in 0. That probably means both numbers need to end in 0. So 19 is an odd number. We can skip it. 18 times 2 is 36. So 18 is not a number they have in common. Sorry. 17 is odd. We can skip it. 16. 24 is not a factor of 16. 16 times 2 is 32. 32, yeah. 6 times 2, 12, 32. And that's already too large for 24 and too small for 40. So 15, we know it ends in a 5 or a 0, so it's an odd number. We can't go into it. 14, maybe. 14, well, 24 is not a factor. 24 is not a factor of 14. If you do 14 times 2 is 28. Already too big for 24. All right, so we did 14. 13 is odd. It's not going to work. 12. 12 might work. 12 times 2 is 24. So it's 12, 24, 36, plus 12 more is 48. So 48 is too large for the 40 number that we have there. So 12 can't be it. 11, it's odd. It's not going to work. 10, we know 10 can't work because they both have to end in 0. 9, can 9 work? 9, 24 is not a factor of 9. Nope, because it's 9. Sorry, I'm having a brain. 9, 18, 27. Sorry. So 27 is not a factor of 9. 8 might be 8. Let's look. 8. 24, 8, 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. Sorry, I was having my brain's starting to slow down. So 8, 12, so 24 is a factor of 8. Is 40 a factor of 8? So 8, 16, 24, 32. 32 plus 8 is 40. There we go. All right, so 8. It took us a while to find that number. And if you found it much faster than I did, that's great. My goal is to teach you so that you understand. And so I want you to know that I'm going through the process of thinking about the factors of numbers that would work in this scenario. So that's how it works for me. If you're one of those people who have to write it out, 8, 16, 24, so that you can see it visually, by all means, do what you need to do. Remember, we can all take different paths to get to the right answer. We just have to apply the rules for math. So whatever it takes for you to get there, I'm okay with you doing that. My way is not the only way, and my way isn't necessarily, well, not that it's not the right way. It is, but it's not the only way to do something. All right, so 8 is our factor. 8 will be the factored number. 24 divided by 8 is 3. We know it goes into it 3 times. We leave the y minus, and 40 divided by 8 is 5. Boom. All right. Great. We got through that one and used our brains to process what it is that you're supposed to be looking for in this time. So let's move on. We're at 21 minutes. Let's see if we can get through the last few examples in the next 9 minutes. Here we go. If you need to pause to go back and look, do so. Here we go. Let me move. There we go. All right. A question on a quiz asks students to factor the expression 32m minus 24. Ryan and Jane's answers are given below. Explain who is correct. All right. Well, Ryan has the factor of 4. And 4 times 8 is 32. And 4 times 6 is 24. So it's not that Ryan was wrong. But these are all still even numbers. Doesn't look like Ryan used the greatest common number. He used 4, which works. Let's see if 8 works. Is 24. We know that from our last question. 24 is a factor of 8. And 32 is a factor of 8. So Jane might be right because 8 is the greatest number that can be used. And not that Ryan is wrong. He just didn't use the greatest common factor. He can still factor this problem down to the simplest form. And that's the goal in this worksheet and this activity, is that you're simplifying it down to its simplest form. So Jane is correct because Jane factored out 8. And 8 goes into 32 4 times. And 8 goes into 24 3 times. And both those, that's prime in there. That means that they can't be factored down more. 4 is even, 3 is odd. So this is the simplest form. So Jane, well, they both are, Jane is, let's say they both are correct. I want to say that they are both correct, but Jane found the greatest common factor for the expression to get to the simplest form. And you write on the lines. Obviously my pen is a little wonky, so the simplest form. So Jane's answer is correct. Is the most correct. She's correct. She's not wrong. She's just not the most correct. And so on a test, Jane would get full credit, whereas Ryan would get partial credit because he didn't find the simplest form. And that's what factoring is, simplest form. All right, let's get some practice in. Simplify, then factor each expression. Okay. Ooh, simplifying means that we're combining like terms first, and then once we combine the like terms, then we are factoring the number out. Love it. Good practice for you to do 2 steps in a problem to get to your answer, okay? All right, so I see x and I see x. So I'm going to start with 4x. So 4x minus x will give us 3x, and it's positive because 4x is larger and it's positive. And then I have minus 2 or negative 2 plus 23. That means I'm going to take 2 away from 23, and it's positive, so I'm going to do plus 21. 23 is bigger and it's positive, so it keeps the bigger sign, the bigger number sign. All right, now that I have 3x plus 21, now I need to factor. So I simplified it first, and now I need to factor it, okay? All right, the greatest common factor has to be 3, or it can't be bigger than 3, because 3 is, any number above 3 won't go into 3. And 21 is a factor of 3, yay! So that was easy. So if I pull 3 out, right, remember I'm gonna do it on this one, but as we move on, I'm not gonna do the dividing anymore because we did enough of that up here that you should understand now. All right, so then I'm gonna be 3 is gonna be my factored number. I'm gonna leave x in there because 3 and 3 is 1, or it cancels each other out. Plus, and 21, 3 goes into 21 7 times. This is my final answer. I did simplifying first, and then I factored. Okay? All right, I'm not going to do the dividing step anymore. I want you to be able to do that on your own. All right, I'll do 15, and then I won't do it after that. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the numbers because the m's are here, so I'll start with the number first. We have negative 13 and plus positive 5. So that's subtracting. That would be 8, negative 8, because 13 is the larger number. And then we have 11m minus m. 11 is positive, so plus 10m. All right, I did the factoring, or I did the simplifying first by combining like terms. And then, so I need to factor these numbers down. It can't be larger than 8, and 10 is not a factor of 8. And it can't be an odd number, so we're going to skip 7, 6, 8 is not a factor of 6, 5, we know it can't be 5, 4, 10 is not a factor of 4, but 10 is a factor of 8. It can't be 3, 2 might be it for both of them. 2 can go into 8 and 10. So I'm going to show you 2. That's my factoring. So 2 becomes my factoring number. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Oh, it's negative. Sorry. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm not going fast enough to make the 30 minutes. Okay. Negative 4. And then I'm going to keep the sign plus. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. And the m stays. Perfect. This is my final answer. So I simplified by combining like terms, and then I factored. All right, we're going to move a little bit quicker because we've practiced. All right, and we should know how to combine like terms. We're going to start with the first number. Is it just a number? So we're going to combine the numbers first. Negative 27 plus 2 is going to be a negative 25. And then we have 23 minus 23p minus 3p, and 23 is positive. So we're going to keep the positive. Minus 3 is 20p. All right, there's my factor. Right away, I can tell that these are both factors of 5. So I'm going to pull 5 out of there. And then negative 5 goes into 25 5 times. Plus, and 5 goes into 20 4 times. And we leave the p. Boom. All right, let's keep going. Simplify first. We're going to simplify x with x. So we have positive 7x plus 11x will give us 18x. And then we have minus or negative 2y and negative 6y. We add the negatives together and keep the sign. So we have negative 10y. I simplified, combined the terms. And right away, I know that these are only factors of 2. Any number higher, 10 can't go into 4. 4 can't go into 10. So let's do 2. There's our factored number. 2 goes into 18 9 times. We leave the x. 2 goes into 10 5 times. We leave the y. All right. Next one, we have, we have to distribute first. I love it. So we're going to distribute first. It's making us practice lots of concepts that we've learned up until now. So we're going to distribute first. 5 times 3 is 15a. We keep the sign, minus, and 5 times 2 is 10. And then we're going to drop the rest of this, which is 13a minus 2. All right. And then I'm going to simplify, or I'm going to combine like terms. I have 15a and negative 13a. 15 is positive. So I'm going to end up with positive 2a. And then I have negative 10 and negative 2. 2 negatives together add. So it's negative 12. Good. I simplified or combined like terms. And I know the factor is going to be 2 because they're both even. So 2 is going to factor into 2a, and it leaves the a minus, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Boom. All right, easy, easy. All right, here we go. I'm not sure why these are in parentheses, but don't let it throw you off. We know there's an imaginary 1 there, which if we wanted to, we can factor out so that it all looks even if you'd like. Or we can just do it across. Here we go. We'll just do it like this. We have 1 and we have well, let's pretend that there's a 1 here, and we're going to distribute, right, and remove the parentheses. So we have 1 plus 24k, and negative 1 times 4k is negative 4k, and then negative 1 times 17, well, there's 2 negatives. That makes a positive, so it's 17. There we go. All right, now we can simplify. 1 plus 17 is 18, and then they're positive. Then we have 24k minus 4k, and we're going to minus or plus 20k because 24k was positive. Sorry. There's that. Right away, these are both factors of 2. Can't be 4 because 4 can't go into 18. So I know that 2 is going to be my greatest common factor. I believe it's 2. Yes. 2 goes into 18 9 times. Plus 2 goes into 20 10 times. My k stays there. There we go. Last 2. We have we have to distribute. So we're going to rewrite this first. We have 9m minus 6n minus, we have 3 times m minus 3m, and 3 times 6n is, we're going to leave the sign, and then we're gonna leave the plus sign in there, but then we're going to do negative 3, so we'll do negative 18n. There we go. All right, now we're going to simplify. I see the m's first, so positive 9m minus 3m will give us 6m. And then I have n's. I have negative 6n and negative 18n. That's going to give me negative 24n, I believe. Yes. Right away, 6 is a factor for both of those, so I'm going to take 6 as my factoring number. 6 goes into 6 1 time, so that just leaves the m, minus 6 goes into 24 4 times, and leave the n. Boom. Last one, and we're just about at 35 minutes, so I kept it under, I'm going to keep it under 30, but 35 is not too bad. All right, we have 16r plus 2s minus 6r plus 8s in parentheses plus 4r. Okay, we're going to put our imaginary 1 here, and we're going to distribute so that we can rewrite this to make sense for us. Well, I don't know why it does that. Okay, so rewrite. We have 16r plus 2s then we're going to distribute. Negative 1 times 6r is negative 6r. And then negative 1 times 8s is going to be, we're going to leave the plus sign, but we're going to do negative 8s. And then plus 4 is still here, or 4r. Good. All right. We're going to combine like terms. I see a lot of r's, r. So we have a positive 16r minus 6r will be 10r. And 10r, and we keep the positive sign because 16 is bigger than 6. So 10r, positive 10r plus 4r is 14r. And then we have s. We have positive 2s and negative 8s. 8 is larger, so we're going to keep that sign, negative. We're going to take 2 away from that. It will be 8s. Oh, sorry. My fingers hurt. And factoring would be 2. Right away, I'm going to pull 2 out of there. Will be my factor. 2 goes into 10 5 times. We leave the r. Minus 2 goes into 4 2 times. Leave the s. And there we go. All right. We got through that. We got through that in about 35 minutes. I did talk a little bit at the beginning because I want to make sure I explain and talk you through what it is that we're doing and why it is that we're doing, so that we learn as we work through these problems. There are different ways and methods in which we can solve an equation or solve a problem. Okay? So that's my reasoning behind talking the extra few minutes, is to make sure that you understand. Excuse me. All right. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. If you have any questions, make sure you ask questions if you have questions to clarify what it is you need to clarify. All right. See ya.